Welcome to Mommy Mia Media, a podcast by moms for moms.
Hey guys, it's Jenn from Mommy Mia Media. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It is 11 p.m. on Monday night. I apologize for getting this video out to you guys late, but better late than never. First and foremost, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Lindsay and I have been working hard to build out Mommy Mia Media and appreciate those who have listened to our podcast on Spotify, who've watched on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to like, follow, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Lindsay is out on vacation with her family, so I'm making this video solo today. This past week has been a whirlwind. As we discussed last week on the podcast, I had returned to work following my maternity leave. I am so thankful I got 8 full weeks to spend with my little minion, but it was time to face reality and return to my 9 to 5. I told myself going into this week, though, that I was going to allow myself some grace, knowing that it's a transitional period right now. I know that we as moms are embracing mixed emotions when we go back to work. We just spent 9 months, basically baking this little tiny human being in our body, and they come into the world and all we want to do is love and protect them. And one of the hardest things is having to leave our children with someone else that's not ourselves. So first and foremost, I had mixed emotions going back to work because I didn't want to leave the baby, but I also am going through the emotional roller coaster of postpartum. Hormones are crazy, and it's just been very interesting to kind of navigate leaving the baby for an extended period of time, as well as coming home and still keeping the house together, and now also incorporating my work life into being a mother. Part of making sure that we were set to go back to the norm was planning ahead. So I know that I had heard for daycare, for instance, that there was a 9-month wait period for most of the daycares in the surrounding area. And I had to put our daughter's name in months ago, and she still won't be able to go to daycare until the end of this year, until the end of the summer. And in the meantime, we had to find alternative care, which fortunately, my husband's parents have been able to help us out, which has helped us not only, with that transition, but also financially as well, because it is quite expensive to put your child in daycare. Not only did we have to plan ahead in regards to the daycare, but also what our morning routine would look like. So one of the things that I had to get used to is getting a newborn ready all over again. So making sure that she has plenty of diapers and wipes, plenty to eat, plenty of extra outfits, because spit up is real. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a mess. I have a little bit of spit up on me already. I'm still in my work clothes. Just making sure that we are both together to have a successful day. The other thing that has been helpful for me to kind of get back into the swing of things is that I have kept an open line of communication with my employer. They have been great in understanding, what my needs have been throughout my pregnancy and well into me coming back to the office. It's been great to see my coworkers, but also it's been a challenge to just juggle that work-life balance. I work in a role where I can pretty much work when I feel like it. Obviously, that's not the case for everybody. But with my job, though, it's been great to have an employer who understands and appreciates a good work-life balance. The other thing I wanted to talk about is as moms, we tend to overlook what our needs are, and getting back into the swing of going back to the office. One of the biggest things for me is making sure to take time to have self-care and self-reflect even. So I know that if you're anything like me, I am the type of person who puts everybody else's needs above my own. So I'll make sure everybody else's laundry is done, that, that dishes can be done, which my husband helps out pretty well with that. But I try to make sure that everybody is successful and sometimes overlook the things that I need to make myself successful. And that includes sometimes even basic just self-maintenance, you know what I mean? Plucking your eyebrows, or maybe skipping shaving your legs because you know that you have to be out the door a little bit sooner than you'd like. So when you're transitioning back into the work-life balance, part of that is making sure to balance out that time, or schedule out that time, whether it's once a day for 15 minutes or once a week for an hour, to just take a nice hot bath with some candles, read a book. Everybody needs that time to nourish and nurture themselves, because we as moms tend to nourish and nurture all those around us. And like they always say, you really can't pour from an empty cup. Another thing, we as moms, when we come back to the office, we are overcoming challenges. We're overcoming the challenge of feeling guilty for leaving our children behind, or feeling like we're not giving our 100% focus to our job now that we have that sense of worry while we're away from our children, right? So we are resilient, though, and we will overcome those challenges. But celebrate the milestones, though. That's something that my takeaway is I'm celebrating the fact that I've made it a full week back to the office. And, it's kind of like riding a bike. You may be a little shaky at first, might run 5, 10, 15 minutes late to work the first week, but hopefully, you start settling in and things become a little bit smoother. I wanted to talk about why I made Mommy Mia Media. Lindsay and I had actually discussed making this podcast kind of as a joke. Her and I have been best friends for a long time, but one of the things that we always get a good laugh about is how we parent, the joys and challenges of growing up with our kids. But I have always found it hard to make friends with other moms, and I really wanted to create a space where moms can come together. And whether you're the classroom picture perfect mom who makes on theme complete parties that are extravagant and can still hold it all together, or you're the hot mess mom who's pulling up in their PJs with their messy bun and bunny slippers on, to be able to come together and be friends. I really want this to be a community that empowers moms to speak up and talk about the challenges, the joys, come forward with any questions, talk about what you would like to hear from Lindsay and I. I feel as a mom, there's so many questions that I have, and as you have heard, we have a lot of anxieties. If you're anything like me and you're Googling answers, let's talk about them. What's the weirdest things that you have Googled when it came to your child? I know that I probably have never been more concerned about what a human is doing in terms of a bowel movement ever in my life, but here I am with a 2-month-old who is, I'm monitoring, how many bowel movements a day they have, or how many times they've spit up, or how many wet diapers they have. But I'm sitting here Googling if that's normal or what is too much. And I know I'm not the only one. And that's what Mommy Mia Media is all about, is we're all in this journey together. It's beautiful. It's tragic. I mean, from their first smiles to the first time they say that I hate you and slam the door in your face. We're here to talk about it all. I'm not a perfect mom by no means, but I'm hoping that I can connect with other moms who are perfectly imperfect. I, again, appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Next week, Lindsay will be back. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but any recommendations are encouraged. So please comment, like, follow, share, and subscribe. See you next week.